Building. What's happening, people? We talking Javante Tank Davis versus Isak Pitbull Cruz. You knew my prediction for this fight. You guys know what I said about this fight. And true to form, man. True to form, you know, uh, we looking at a fight that, as I said, went the distance. And a lot of people were saying, "Oh, Javante would knock this guy out and stuff." And I told you guys, I saw it as a unanimous decision or decision victory for Javante Tank Davis because I was looking at Pitbull Cruz, and you know, you got a name like Pitbull. You know what I'm saying? So, I looked at that and I said to myself, this guy, he looked real strong, you know, and he getting guys out of there, and he's doing it for a reason. There's a reason he's doing this, you know, and so I didn't really see Javante getting him out of there. And true to form, man, he performed. He really performed in this fight. There was one or two rounds that could have been swing rounds. I had it Javante 8 rounds to 4. I had Javante winning the first round. Uh, I had Pitbull winning the second. I had Javante winning the third, and then Pitbull won the fourth. Really comprehensively won the fourth. I had Javante winning the fifth, and then Pitbull came back and won the sixth. And then Javante kind of figured him out and actually was walking him down for a couple of rounds. So the seventh, the eighth, and the ninth, those went to Javante Davis. Pitbull did do great work, was walking him down in spots, but Javante was actually standing his ground and walking, pushing him back. And Pitbull was a little bit more hesitant to come in. Then round number 10 became a Pitbull round. He stole that round, I think, at the end of the round, particularly the last minute of the round. Pitbull really put some heat on Javante. Javante got good defense, though. But, he put some heat on Javante, man. And those body shots by Pitbull, oh, my goodness. Javante would come with that left uppercut, and Pitbull would answer with a right hook to the body. Because Pitbull, the thing about Pitbull is, Pitbull actually have good defense. He rides shots really well. He used that high guard, block up everything right up the center. So he could block the uppercut, as well as if he's throwing a right hook while you're throwing a left hook, he can ride the shot. So as you can see right here, he's riding Javante Davis's right uppercut. So the uppercut doesn't really hit him flush. He's riding the shot right there. And that's because, and so while he's riding a shot, he could throw a left hook, he could throw a right hook at the same time while he's riding the shot. You know what I mean? And he was doing some great body work on Javante. He hurt Javante a couple times to the body. Javante also hurt him a couple times to the body. I think he broke his hand against his head, his left hand, because he wasn't using the left hand much in rounds 11 and 12. He wasn't really using it much. It seems as though he broke it somewhere in the sixth, and then in the seventh he was still using it, but then he stopped using it somewhere around. He even talked about it in the corner about his hand. Somewhere around the 8th round, he wasn't really using his right hand. He was using his jab. Javante really was good on the stick. He showed us his boxing ability and his boxing skill. He still got tagged up a couple times. Pitbull is a guy who's relentless, bobbing and weaving, going to the inside, using his stick as well. Javante got the quicker feet, obviously, quicker hands, but it didn't mean nothing because Cruz could cut those angles, and he was cutting off the ring very, very well. Cruz, he's strong, but also, he's good at shifting. And also I noticed that he was good at staying low and getting under those shots, bobbing and weaving and getting on the inside really nice. He's bobbing and weaving past that jab. Javante would sometimes triple it up, double up his jab, change levels, trying to get that jab in, hook off his jab. You really saw a beautiful exhibition of the use of the jab by Javante. He sometimes pull out with the jab, whatever. But he used a lot more footwork, moved around the ring a lot more. Really quick feet. He's really quick feet, really quick hands. Javante, I think, boxes better than Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez don't have that foot speed, and he definitely don't have that that cardio to keep that kind of movement throughout the fight. Javante was moving quite a lot again, cutting really good angles, but you got to give it to Isak Cruz. Isak Cruz was doing a phenomenal job of boxing, man. Phenomenal job of getting in the inside, not getting hit, not getting hurt, you know, and just good boxing. And, he's a third generation boxer. All right, so I think one or two rounds were swing rounds where Isak Cruz was actually doing really good work for the majority of the round, and Gervonta would steal the end of the round, catching him with some really hellacious shots. And Gervonta looked like he was beating him up really bad and starting to freeze him sixth, seventh, and then eighth, and then he kind of backed off in the ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th, I guess because of his hand. But Isak, man, not only durable but skilled, and like Gervonta said, this is the rise of another superstar. You know what I mean? He actually said hell no to a rematch with Isak Cruz, telling you just how good Isak was doing in that fight. Of course, they were telling Gervonta to box him, which was a smart idea. I mean, trying to just go toe to toe with this kid. But in the later rounds, Gervonta was actually walking him down, staying in the center of the ring, holding his ground, boxing him with angles. And Isak can be outboxed. That's the problem. His style is great and everything. He brings the heat, he brings the pressure. But once you get him to sort of respect you, and he respected Gervonta's power, he sort of kind of froze up a bit. Especially when Gervonta started throwing those combinations. I think it was in the seventh round. He threw like a 8-punch combination, and some of those shots actually went inside of Isak, and he was pivoting around Isak while he was throwing those combinations. It's crazy. But having said that, obviously Gervonta has special skills and abilities. But having said all of that, I can say that Isak Cruz, phenomenal, man, phenomenal conditioning. Dude got a chin. He didn't really get his chin tested that much. I think he got caught with a really nasty body shot, and that kind of slowed him down a bit. But for the most part, Isak, performed exceptionally well as the pressure fighter. He was bringing the heat to Gervonta. Gervonta did stand his ground, and then he started backing up Isak Cruz. And Isak Cruz showed us he could box a little bit off the back foot. I didn't know he could do that. So he was doing a little bit of that too. And both guys had good defense, and Gervonta tried to bully him around, but Isak's not a dude that gets bullied around. So it was a fantastic fight, man. Uh, you know, what can I say about Isak Cruz? I mean, Gervonta broke his hand on his head. That's to tell you, Gervonta, it wasn't no easy fight for Gervonta in many respects. And even though the score is 8-4, it could have been 7-5. It depends on how you scored some of those swing rounds where Isak was doing a lot of good work pressuring Gervonta. Gervonta wasn't throwing much of anything. But it even in the case of that, you have to look at how brilliant Isak Cruz is defensively, because there are a lot of shots that people think Gervonta landed, he did not land. And then there was other shots he really did land. You know what I mean? And then Isak had a counter, which was interesting, for Gervonta's left uppercut, left hooks, strong left hand, any left hand shot. Isak Cruz had a right hook to the body, and he was trying to beat down the body to slow down Gervonta. But Gervonta was obviously the harder puncher and the bigger guy. You could tell. I guess his move up to 140 really what's his advantage. But the thing with Gervonta, I noticed, is his cardio was crazy. Like, he had crazy cardio. And again, a battle of inches. He was just right there. Isak would throw certain punches to the head, and basically Gervonta would do the same thing Isak's doing, ride the punches. It may look more excessive in his head movement, but he's just basically riding the punch. That's why you didn't see his face swollen up or anything, which is pretty interesting. Rolly Romero, hell of a fighter, but no way Rolly Romero would have brought that kind of pressure that Isak Cruz did so effectively. Isak Cruz was an effective pressure fighter against Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis had to use some special effects, get Isak to go down the wrong line, roll under certain punches. He was trying to turn Isak, but Isak was strong enough to keep him in place. In the clinches. Now, the one thing I noticed was Gervonta was clinching a lot in this fight. He was stopping the action by clinching. Isak Cruz, he was trying to rough him up on the inside as well. But I thought the referee should have at least warned him about the excessive clinching because he was clinching him. But then later on in the fight, he wasn't clinching him much. So I guess early in the fight, he was trying to slow down the action and control Isaac Cruz, which he knew how to clinch. That's one thing. Javante knew how to clinch, learn off the Adrian Broner experience. But I gotta say, man, Isaac Cruz is one of them guys you gotta watch out for, and he gonna just get better. You know, he can be outboxed though. Unfortunately, even though he cuts off the ring and everything, he gotta learn. This is what Isaac Cruz need to learn. He and his dad need to learn how to break clinches, so guys don't lock up on him. Sean Porter learned how to do it. Look at Alexander Povetkin, how he breaks a clinch, he dip lower. I know Davis. He know how to clinch you really well, but you got to learn to dip and then roll. So you dip and roll. So you dip and roll out, and you open out your arms like this. The guy can catch you with a punch to your body, but dip, roll out, and then you can land your punches and free up your shots a little bit more. So that's what Isak need to do, so he can keep the pressure going and really throw his combinations on the inside. But hell of a fighter, Isak Cruz. Um, Flat-footed a bit, but he reminded me of Marcus Maidana, the way how he can change levels, change speeds, get on his toes, and just really start blasting. And he gets beautiful leverage on his punches. He's deceptively quick in his counters. Um, you know, I mean, Javante was way faster than him in terms of reaction time, but he's got Cruz had good timing, and Javante had gotten Cruz timing down actually, but couldn't do what he really wanted to do because he hurt his hand. But nonetheless, Isak Cruz, he got good timing, really good placement of his punches. Um, all around, he a pit bull. He really is. And the pit bull showed up from round 1 to round 12. He was bringing the heat. Javante never really, he slowed him down in increments, but he never really, really seriously hurt him. Of course, Isak never really, really seriously hurt Javante, but there's some nasty body punches both guys gave each other, particularly Isak Cruz to the body, and had Javante double over. He literally doubled over with one of them body punches, and I think the ref parked them or something because he went straight into the clinch after that. Cruz, man, you gotta give Isak Cruz mad props. Everybody was writing him out, saying Javante would knock him out and stuff, and that was a closer fight than any of us expected. 8-4, it could have easily been 7-5. That was the fight I saw. I don't know what the judges saw, but 8-4, 7-5 was what I got. And it went to a decision. I thought that this kid was, you signed with Pacquiao Promotions, very durable. I never seen a lot of his fights, but I saw how he approached going into the pocket, how he used his jab very well, and his body work. I said to myself, this dude, he ain't got no neck. He ain't got no neck. I knew when I saw this dude, he ain't got no neck. His neck muscles are so well built. I knew, and this guy keeps his chin tucked and everything. He does everything right. I knew this guy ain't going nowhere. And true to form, he went nowhere and he performed. He performed, and this is the first time he's on a big stage like that, and he performed. He belonged on the big stage. So I'm looking forward to the next fight that Isak Cruz has. And Javante Davis said it. This is the rising of a superstar. So he got Isak Cruz early. And I wouldn't be surprised if Isak Cruz becomes a world champion at lightweight at some point. So look out for him. So we got another guy, a top welterweight we got to look out. Top lightweight we got to look out for. Joining the ranks of Jojo Diaz and Javier Fortuna and Jorge Linares and Luke Campbell. I think this guy's a step up against them and against any other opponent. Probably, give them a lot of hell. I think, except for Devin Haney, probably, and somebody else. But he a beast, man. Isak's a beast, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of those fights. So this is just what you need on YouTube here, talking to you guys. I see I have a viewer here. Leave your comments in the chat section, man. Some people feel that Isak was robbed in the fight and he should have won the fight. I don't think so. I don't think he won the fight, but it was a close fight. It's a close fight. And he took some rounds. He took a substantial portion of those rounds, landing some nasty, hellacious body shots, cutting off the ring, and throwing some combinations at Tank. And again, sometimes The guy who's more active and doing most of the work of the round, he don't get the credit he deserved. But Isak made it clear that when he won a round, he made it clear. And the thing about Tank is sometimes Tank don't throw. So you know, uh, 78 Sports TV says Tank won 9-3, easy work. Nah, I didn't see it 9-3. I didn't see it 9-3, but I hear you, brother. I hear you. Uh, I thought he did well though. He did exceptionally well for the situation, especially after he broke his hand. How he dictated with the jab, beautiful stuff, and how he hook off the jab or he throw other punches off the jab. You tell Tank loved to throw uppercuts, right? Mike Tyson style. So I think that's what makes Tank so interesting. Isak also loved to throw uppercuts and hooks, and you saw it. I mean, Isak was there. He was right there with Tank, every step of the way, trying to get on the inside. But I think Tank hit him with, like this body shot you see right here on the screen. Tank hit him with a really good body shot, and Isak was like, you know what? I'm not just gonna go in there and get beat up like that, to the body. Nobody likes body shots. Okay, nobody likes body shots. And Tank's also good at throwing to the body. You know what I mean? But a hell of a fight, man. A hell of a fight between these two guys. You got to give Isak his props. I did not. I mean, I could see you. I could see 9-3. It depends on what you're looking at, But like I said, for me, Tank swept round 7, 8, and 9. Right? He definitely took 7, 8, and 9. Definitely round 10 was Isak's round. That was Isak's round. I think Tank threw a good flurry or something at the end of the round, but I think that was Isak's round, definitely. Round number, I think it was round number 6, definitely Isak round. 4, definitely Isak round. Like you can't. I mean, there's certain rounds that was it was just definitely Tank rounds. You know what I mean? 2 was definitely Isak round. So it was an ebb and flow. Tank figured him out, I think, by around round 6. Tank had figured him out, and so he started walking and pushing him back in the corner. Barry Hunter today was telling him to walk him back, push him back a bit. So he started pushing him back. He was taking some punches, he was taking some punishment, but you could tell Tank could, he could handle the situation and walk the guy down. So he started walking down. Isak showed us he could box a little bit on the back foot. He could box a little bit on the back foot, and he's a little tricky himself, and he could get the counterpunch Tank. So I thought that was pretty impressive again. A lot of people were looking at this opponent like he was nobody. Isak, like Tank would just run through him. No, he didn't run through him at all. And Tank knew he had to box him. He knew this guy had good enough defense to be able to take the steam off his punches. And Isak said Tank punched hard. He punched hard. Isak said that. And he said, but, we prepared for that. So that's the kind of fighters that I know of. And in this day and age, where, old school fighters probably would have gotten knocked the fuck out by Tank. That ain't happening with this dude. This dude came in condition. He was ready to fight another guy. He got the opportunity of a lifetime. He jumped at it. And he embraced it with both arms. You know what I'm saying? And Tank was, at the end of the fight, Tank was like, hell no, I don't want to face this guy again. Because Isak gave him a tough fight, and Tank knows that, right? And what made the fight tough was, so Tank's teeing off on him, and then he breaks his hand on the guy's head. You know what I'm saying? Dude's so tough that you break your hands on his head, and that never happened to Tank. So but Tank, got the skills and the ability, and he was able to outbox Isak. But he was getting tagged at times. He was getting tagged, even with his boxing skill. And Tank got mad boxing skill. But it's all about hunger, who won it, and what you do with your skills in the fight, and how you make necessary adjustments. Now, Tank didn't take no tremendous set of punishment, except to the body, and Isak, and you see both of their faces were clean at the end of the fight. So them both guys had really good defense. Isak, too, you got an underrated defense, really good defense. Using the high guard, I tell you guys, the high guard, people always talk about a peekaboo or the high guard, right? They say it limits your vision. Not necessarily. See, you can keep it here, and then you can keep it like earmuffs, like Winky right here. Yes, your peripherals are out, but if you switch it up, you can see If you switch it up to the front, for example, to block something here, your peripherals are open. And then when you do like this and you put it on like earmuffs, now your front vision is open. So it's how you interchange it. Canelo, he used the roving guard, so he would do like this, right? Joet Gonzalez does the same thing. He got a roving guard so that he can still keep his vision. A lot of people don't realize the high guard being implemented, especially if you're walking down a guy. If you're a pressure fighter, you're walking a guy, not on the back foot. If you're on the back foot with the high guard, you're susceptible to getting destroyed because now you need to see everything, when you're on the back foot. When you're in the front foot, you're really trying to find your target spots and then block off anything that's sweeping around you, right? And then you can also use the shoulder roll with the high guard. I use the shoulder roll with the high guard. I roll with the high guard. I use my shoulders, again, to protect my chin. So it's not just my guard. My guard is for anything coming in this way, and then my shoulders to protect my chin this way, because I'm a southpaw. So my shoulder will protect my chin here. My guard now will keep it. You look at Errol Spence, all those guys, the high guard. But the high guard is held like this. You can't see it from here. See? The both hands are not necessarily squared up this way. Now, Canelo, he's smart. So he keeps his body leaned into you with the high guard like this. He's leaned in. So anything happens, he can snap back. Okay? Even Tank does it. Floyd used to do it too, and all them guys. He snap back into the shoulder roll if he needs to. Or he snap back with the high guard because he's in vertical distancing. And Tank do it a lot. You see Tank leaning forward all the time. So, in boxing, a lot of people don't understand that boxing's a thing it's a thinking man sport. Listen to Roger Mayweather. He always said, I'm a Roger Mayweather fan. It's a thinking man sport. It's not a, Mike Tyson said it's the most intelligent guy in that ring who wins the fight. It's not. So you see Pitbull Cruz, he a smart fighter. He's not just a guy just going in there and taking punches and gonna come back. No. All right? He got nice deft moves, and y'all don't realize, you see Tank throwing those uppercuts, you hear a noise, but you don't realize Tank uppercut hitting Pitbull's guard. It's his guard as he's rolling he's rolling the punch. And what I like about Pitbull is he integrates his defense into his offense. So while he's rolling a punch, he's throwing a punch. He's throwing a hook while he's riding the punch or rolling a punch. And that's the way how you do it. Same thing Tank do as well. Tank, and he's throwing those brutal uppercuts. His whole head is going this way. Canelo do the same things, So when you look at these guys, you got to understand what's really going on. And I try to explain to people the sweet science is not just, what people call running, where you just tapping a guy with a jab and you moving around the ring. No, the sweet science can be also applied to when you're aggressive and you're fighting with offense, but you got defense while you fighting your offense, because you always going to have incoming. So you have to fight smart, right? And that's the sweet science. So let's say Pitbull Cruz is coming on the inside. He's not just going to come straight in on the inside. He's coming off his jab. He's coming off an angle. He's not staying on the center line. And he's bobbing and weaving. He's swiveling and swiveling. He's bobbing. He's weaving. He's swiveling. He's slipping, right, to get on the inside while he's throwing his jab. That's boxing. Hit, but don't get hit, okay? And if you do get hit, ride that motherfucker till the wheels roll off. You understand what I'm saying? It's about the sweet science. And what we saw this weekend was two beautiful fights in which we had 4 sweet scientists in there. You can use the sweet science and be a pressure fighter. Jake LaMotta always used to say he had quick reflexes, so that even when a guy, it looked like he got tagged, he actually rode the punch. Y'all need to understand that. It's boxing. It's not a freaking tough man sport. And what you saw with Isaac Cruz was he knew how to block in time. He knew how to use the high guard. He knew how to get underneath Gervonta Davis's shots. He knew how to leverage his shots. How you shift your body weight as you're slipping inside to get that shot off while you're still riding a punch or rolling a punch. You're using the shoulders to protect you. Sometimes you use the jab to gauge where your opponent is, like Gervonta was doing with Pitbull. And you can stiff arm a guy on his shoulder, to get his balance off. Y'all don't understand. The lead hand is like, there's so many things you can do with the lead hand. The lead hand can put you in position. It's not just about the jab. See, if you look at Devin Haney, I remember Floyd was showing Devin Haney something Devin Haney already knew, but how you stiff arm a guy on his shoulder. That's to keep the arm from extending. So sometimes I touch you on the shoulder. I'm not touching you even on the hand. I'm touching you on the shoulder to keep the shoulder at home, keep that arm at home. So when you try to hook over the guard, I block you here. I catch you with the shoulder here, and I could hook over your hook. You see what I'm saying? And it's a lot of things, man, to boxing, man. Boxing's a beautiful sport. I can't explain to you how much I enjoy these fights because it was top quality, top notch fights. Whether it was Jojo Diaz, how he got to the inside, how he was, again, bobbing and weaving, how he was sometimes fainting as if he was going to come in and then he comes in off the feint. All of these little things, man. The footwork. Oh, man, those angles, the pivot work. How Jojo would come in off the angle with a left hook to the body, come over the top to the head with a right hook, and then he might shift off to the side. And if Devin Haney shuffle off to his side, he negate the angle and all of these things. Man, boxing's beautiful, man. Y'all got to understand. I was watching Ronald Gavril versus David Benavidez. I watched the second fight. And Gavril again was pouring it on strong in the championship rounds. He started stepping up his game. He was taking some punishment, but he had already taken the worst that David Benavidez could dish out to him. And he was walking David Benavidez down, standing behind the high guard, shooting shots to the body, right hands and left straight jabs to the body. And David Benavidez was in a fight. The 11th round, David Benavidez was dead tired. They had towels and shit over him. And, came out really hard and fast with combinations and stuff. Gabriel ate up some of them combinations and kept walking that motherfucker down. And I said, Ronald Gabriel is a hell of a fighter. Now, it took a lot out of Ronald Gabriel that fight. But my point being, David Benavidez was in the fight of his life twice with Ronald Gabriel. And we've seen David Benavidez of late stopping guys left, right, and center. But he didn't stop Ronald Gabriel. He also didn't stop the other guy. I can't remember what the guy's name is. But what I'm trying to tell y'all is styles make fights, and also just because a guy might look big and strong, like take for instance Gervonta Davis, he's big, strong, knocking out everybody. Okay, cool. But they always a guy with a style and with a mindset and with relentlessness and just the right amount of defense and the offense necessary to push that dude and do that to resort to something else. And in this fight, Gervonta had to resort to his boxing skills, which y'all saw on display. Beautiful boxing skills, by the way. And all I'm saying is, Tank's still growing as a fighter. He made it past Issa Cruz. Issa Cruz, of course, experience was the major key here. He did a lot of good things, but at the end of the day, experience is the major key. So, like I said before, he need to learn how to break a clinch so that he could keep on bringing the heat and the pressure. Now, there were certain points later on in the fight where he was initiating clinches, right? Because Gervonta Davis had really started wear on him, but then Gervonta Davis' hand went out. But the point is that at the end of the day, Issa Cruz, he gave it 110%, came up short, but really he didn't lose out. I mean, everybody knows who he is now. Hell of a fighter, and he can only improve. And I'm telling you right now, if he knows how to break the clinch, he needs to learn how to break the clinch, because guys are going to go and try and lock up on him all the time. They're going to try and lock up on him, man. They're going to try and lock up on him because they can't take the pressure, nonstop pressure. He reminds me of Sean Porter to some degree. And he don't leave with his head without protecting his from uppercuts. So he, even though he's coming in, it looks like he's coming in head first, he got this guard here to protect that. Man, I really like what he's very, very solid. I'm very impressed with him. I'm also very impressed with Gervonta Davis, and I'm gonna break down more of this fight. I'm gonna actually do it in this format so you guys can see with videos and stuff. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna hold on a second. Let me see if I can get a clip of the fight for you guys. Let's see if we can find something on here. I'm gonna show you guys what I'm talking about, because a lot of times we don't get to show you. We don't get to show you the brilliance of these fighters. And I might be able to have the opportunity to show you. I just hope I don't get a copyright strike. All right. Ooh, we got full fight highlights. Right. So look at this. So there you see is round one. There you go. There you go. Saw that? Saw that left hook? See how quick he is? Watch this again. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Javante just inches away. Oh, there you go. That right hook to the body. There's that right to the left to the body there by Javante. It's very surgical. See that jab? That jab was giving him a little bit of problem. See how he slips under the jab? There's that left hook. Okay, we just getting highlights. We just getting highlights. Oh, this looks like the full fight here. Oh, wow. They're showing this shit all over YouTube. Anyways, man, look at the jab. Look at the jab right there. See? Oh, right to the body. Ooh, left hook that just missed. You see? Look how he's dipping there. Dipping and slipping. Dipping and slipping. Bobbing and weaving. He throws his jab. But Javante is, touching the jab and keeping the jab off. Because remember, the jab's the radar finder. Watch this. Watch this. Look at that. Oh, to the body. Trying to catch him, but Javante just out of range. Brilliant stuff. Double, triple jab by Cruz to close the gap. See how he's touching him? He's keeping the jab at home. So Javante's touching the jab to keep his jab. He's occupying the hand so he keep him at home. So he can't find range. See? He did it again. That's boxing. See? That's why Cruz is falling short right now. See? So I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of it. I'm not going to show you too much more for now because I don't want to get copyright struck. But it was a badass fight, man. You know, all about boxing. You got to understand, boxing's not so much about power. It's about strategy. It's about tactics. It's about preparation. It's about conditioning. You know, you guys can have power. I mean, Cruz got crazy power, right? Javante got crazy power, but that nobody got knocked down, nobody got dropped, nobody's face even got messed up, right? And the reason is because both guys got defense, and both guys it was a fast-paced chess between these two fighters. And I'm gonna break it down, man. I'm gonna break it down, but I just don't want to get no copyright strike. You know what I mean? I don't get no copyright strike. That's the problem with these things. You know, if I can get YouTube to allow me to, and these. See, all right, so let me break down something. Boxing, a lot of fans don't know shit about boxing. Like Floyd just said recently, the reporters don't even know what questions to ask. They ask some dumbass questions to the fighters every single time a fight comes. How was your training camp? Who gives a fuck? Nobody's going to tell you I had a bad training camp. So that's a stupid question to ask, right? It's just dumb, right? Then the next thing they say is, how much do you rate this fighter? Do you rate this fighter as, one of the, you think he's a better fighter than Rolly Romero? I'm like, that's a dumbass question again, because the dude ain't faced the dude yet. How can he know? He can make an assumption based on the previous fights that the guy brings heat. He brings more pressure than Rolly Romero, but then we never know what Rolly Romero would do if he was coming after Tank. You know what I mean? So, I mean, this is the problem with boxing. We got guys who never boxed before, so they never know what questions to ask. You know what a better question to ask Tank would have been? Hey, if you just did boxing, you'd ask this question. This is a good question. All right. No fanboy shit about who's the best boxer and lightweight and who earns the most money. That's fanboy shit, right? You ask Tank this. You say to Tank, Tank, when you go into this fight, tell me something. When you go into this fight, tell me something. What? I know you prepare. Basically, you prepare more or less going through the same routines for every single fight. And boxing is monotonous, and people don't realize that guys be putting in work all the time, right? But when you go into this fight, and you say you want people to see your boxing skills, let me ask you this question. What will you do in a situation where you prepare for a situation where everything's not ideal, everything don't work out like the way how you want it to? Meaning, you go into this fight. Are you ready for a situation where maybe you get knocked out, or a situation where maybe you get cut, or a situation where maybe your hand gets injured, or a situation where maybe you have a shoulder injury or whatever? Are you prepared for those situations where something unexpected happens? Are you ready for those kinds of situations? Because a lot of fighters, we know for a fact Caleb Plant wasn't ready for when he got knocked down. He never probably envisioned that situation. Nobody ever presented that situation to him, and so he didn't know exactly what to do. Teofimo Lopez wasn't prepared for a situation where a guy would counter his counter, and so are you prepared for, let's say, anything can happen in boxing, right? Anything can happen in that square circle. Of course, Tank's going to say, well, I'm prepared. But you don't want him to just give a one-word answer. So you have to ask the question in the sense that he's going to tell you anything. I say, anything? You say, anything. I'm saying, okay, suppose the fight has to be stopped for something that happened outside the ring. Maybe there's an earthquake or something, anything? Are you ready for any situation? I mean, do you guys think outside the box when you're dealing with the situations that, because we know there's, like in a boxing ring, there's, in some respects, there's a certain limited number of things that could happen in a boxing ring. But what about what happens out of the boxing ring? I remember Evander Holyfield versus Riddick Bowe, and a dude just flew out the sky with a parachute and almost crashed inside the ring. I think he hit the ropes, right? Anything can happen in boxing. Anything can happen in boxing. And, boxing's a sport where, we have momentum shifts and all that. So that's why, we're asking you that question. You ready for any situation? Let's say, for example, you get thumbed in the eye, or you get thumbed in both eyes. You can't see through either eye. What do you do in that situation? Let's say you meet a rough and rugged guy just be hitting you in the nuts. You know what I mean? What do you do in those situations? I'm just asking. So, just getting to the particulars somewhat. When we say you're ready for any situation, are you ready for those kinds of situations? And is it that you look at those situations based on the kind of fighter that you're facing? That's the question, right? So, at least you ask some kind of question which actually the dude can answer and say, hey, that's a good question, You don't want to ask, and they ask the same questions over and over, and it's just, it's like, it's mind-numbingly political. It's stupid, How hard do you think he punches? What the fuck? And even, listen, they always ask the same dumbass question, and you wonder if these people are casuals. After the fight, did he punch hard? How hard is his punch? Like, what the fuck? Like, dude, these guys get punched for a living. Okay, they get punched for a living. So those questions are like so archaic. Like, at the end of the fight, you should be asking them things like, what did he do well? What did you see that you was doing to him that you thought was really effective? Those kinds of questions, so that people can up their game, up their knowledge of the sport. And some fighters will give you a vague answer, because they don't really want to tell you what it is. But nonetheless, most of them are honest. They will tell you what it is. Like Tank will tell you what it is. And Tank gave you an honest answer about not wanting to face Pitbull Cruz again. But truth be told, I think I think that Tank should you know, Tank should you know, keep on being honest. At least he's telling us what 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 he means, you know. Um, but you know, Pitbull did his thing. He did his thing that night, and you know, in boxing, it's all about preparation. It's not necessarily preparation for a specific fighter, but improving your all-round game and trying to be an all-round fighter and doing better. And you know, your coaches and trainers will know what's appropriate for a particular fighting situation that you need to work on, but also you need to work on other things that you do, especially the things you don't do so well. Those are the things you really need to work on, you know. And you can tell that Tank he boxed really good. He boxed really good in this fight. Um, so of course George Gambosis he went. He watched the Tank fight. He watched the Haney fight. He got to see well he fought the Teofimo Lopez fight. So the only guy Gambosis hasn't seen is of course Ryan Garcia. That's the last of the the top guys at lightweight currently here. He's yet to watch the big names, right? But you got Jorge Linares, you got Vasily Lomachenko, who's also going to be fighting Richard Comey. But again, I don't think that Kambosos really is interested in that fight because Richard Comey got slept by Teofimo Lopez, probably might get slept by Vasily Lomachenko, unless his trainer, sees what Teofimo Lopez was doing to Lomachenko and, gets Richard Comey to do something around those lines. Because it's possible Comey could beat Lomachenko if he applies the same thing that Ugas and Mayweather and Teofimo Lopez was doing. That's another thing I disagree with everybody on. Some people said that that Teofimo Lopez, he was just a 6-round fighter. I was hearing a lot of people say that. No, he wasn't a 6-round fighter. Teofimo Lopez, if y'all remember, Teofimo Lopez hurt Lomachenko in round 12. Okay? Yeah, Lomachenko took rounds, I think 8, 9, 10. He took 8, 9, 10. I thought Teo came back on the 11th and 12th. But I thought Teo won that fight 8-4. 8-4. Could even be 9-3. Okay? Lomachenko tried to do his best, but Teo. Now, yeah, Teo gets caught with the overhand right, but against Lomachenko, he was pivoting and taking away the angle from Lomachenko, as well as he was using his jab. His jab was just excellent against Lomachenko. He's occupying him and doing all kinds of things with his jab. And he didn't use his jab as much with Kambosos because Kambosos kept on answering his jab and countering his jab, which is why he didn't really use it as much. But he got a good jab. He just has to stay with it, keep confidence with it. He has to work on, like I said before, the defense, especially with the overhand rights. And he sometimes get caught with the left hook because he's just trying to shell up and just stay there in front of the guy. You got to move. You got to respect distance. You got to pivot. And then you also have to continue to use the high guard and stuff. But Teofimo Lopez is a hell of a fighter. I'm a fan. I stay a fan. Yeah, sportsmanship was kind of crappy, but it is what it is. But he's a good fight. He's a very good fighter. Obviously. And he ain't going nowhere. He gonna be back. I got confidence. Teofimo Lopez, if you ever watch this video, brother, thumbs up. You fought a hell of a fight against Kambosos. Kambosos was a better guy that night, but you fought a hell of a fight nonetheless, and you gave us a very exciting fight. So I mean, I ain't mad at you. You know what I'm saying? It happens. It's boxing. Like Floyd said, it's boxing. It happens. People lose. Okay? It's boxing. All right? It happens. Okay? And I remember Floyd saying also just very recently, people were saying, well, you never lost. And he was like, fuck, I lost. Of course I lost. I lost in life. Boxing is life as well. No life, no boxing. And people lose a lot of things, man. You lose loved ones. You lose. There's a lot of shit you lose. So don't do like I'm immune to losing or I'm afraid of losing. Yeah, my boxing record is 50-0, but that don't mean shit. There's other things to life than that, just that. He's trying to break it down for people to understand. No, I lost too. We all lose. But When you lose, you get back up. True champion can take a loss and bounce back, and that's the truth about life. You know what I mean? Because still gotta live. You know, y'all think it's just sports. No, these people have all kinds of problems outside the ring sometimes. You know, everybody's going in on Ryan Garcia, for example. Motherfucker got issues. He's got issues outside the ring. That's why he's out. He's depressed and all kinds of shit because even though he's performing and everything, you know, he got other issues going on. And same thing with JoJo Diaz. JoJo Diaz, a brilliant boxer. He had issues with depression himself. Yeah, he's a hell of a fighter. I mean, god damn, man. JoJo Diaz is a hell of a fighter. I maintain that. You know, very cerebral fighter too. And it's just one of those things where, you know, we're finally starting to get the matchups we want to see. You know, we're still not getting the big names, but we're getting some really good fights, man. Some really good fights. I'm looking forward to seeing these big names clash with each other, but also I'm looking at the guys who people don't think is big names and they doing that shit, man. You gotta watch boxing, man. You gotta watch boxing. You gotta enjoy the sport. We got those Euro guys coming across, Eastern European guys, and doing their thing too. Man, everybody's starting to get their shine. You know, boxing's showing that it's loved by every race and every single creed and class and culture, and that, you know, it can be embraced by everybody. You know, so I mean, you know, Isak Cruz, man, I saw Canelo back in Isak Cruz to beat Gervonta Davis. Now I understand why. You know, the dude is the goods, man. He's the goods. Can't talk enough about him. We're gonna talk more about him. Don't worry. We'll talk more about him in time. But until then, I am what you need. You've been watching my channel. If you like to subscribe to my channel, you can go ahead and do that. You can share these videos. You can also donate via Western Union MoneyGram. No, sorry, my bad. You can donate via PayPal to apgmchristiandisciple@gmail.com. So there you go. I'm gonna catch you guys later, though. Soon enough, we're gonna talk some more, maybe on some other panels and stuff. But there's a hell of a fight, man. We had some firecracker weekends, man, and intelligent boxing. It wasn't just boxing. See, this is Isak Cruz there catching him with the left hook right there, and he going to the body next, top and body. There it is again. That left hook he kept on catching Gervonta Davis with, as Gervonta Davis was like pulling out on the back foot. So you know. There's that uppercut. He didn't catch him flush there, and then that body shot, man. That body punch. Them guys had some good body work in that fight. You know, they didn't throw a whole bunch of punches, but when they did, man, it was explosive. So yeah, that's what I got for you guys. What you need in the building. Hope you guys like this format. I'm gonna try and drop it down again. I didn't see everybody come through today, but that's all right. I'm gonna catch you guys later. Shout out to 78 Sports TV Junior. Yeah, bro. I know you're not 78 Sports TV, but you 78 Sports TV Junior. Yeah. Shout out to Anthony Yard on getting the knockout win also over the weekend. So, you know. And there was another guy that did some good work. He's with Devin Haney, and he stopped his opponent as well. Forgot his name right now. I think it's Ocasio or something like that. But anyways, man, I'm going to catch you guys later. What you need is out. I'm going to catch you guys probably tonight, and we'll chop up a little bit more about the weekend fights. Peace.